Welcome back to Swans Cast Podcast, everyone. I'm joined by Lee once again this week. We've had a week off, but welcome back.
Hello.
Yeah, straight back to it then. Obviously, been quite a positive few weeks to be a Swansea fan. Our form has drastically improved since we were talking about the worries of being at the bottom in the relegation sort of space 3 weeks ago, maybe, where we were in the bottom three. And now
Yeah.
all of a sudden we find ourselves sitting in sixth position in the playoffs, which, yes, I know, very early. I know that's not necessarily how it's going to finish. Completely aware of that, but let us enjoy the fact that we've moved up, climbed the table so fast, and all of a sudden what looked like being a struggling season could be something a bit more positive. So we'll talk about that today. But as always, before we get into anything, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the big red button underneath where Lee is to keep in touch with all our podcasts and leave a like as well. That helps more people find us. So really appreciate the people that do click those two things. We can't explain how much it does help us grow as a channel, and it does really mean a lot. So if you could please help us out there and leave a comment as well, letting us know what you think of Swan's recent form. Is it all down to Russell Martin, or are you still skeptical? Let us know what you think going forward, because I know there's still some people who aren't fully on board, which is fine. And it would be nice to just hear the reasons and opinions why, and perhaps what you want to see before that changes. Um, well, before we move on as well, I've been asked to shout out a designer on Instagram. They've got a page. They sell basically framed prints of shirts, and they did a Swansea one recently. So the name is called Belson Designs, and he just contacted us just to give a bit of a shout out. So I'll put the link in the video below. But if you want to check that out, there's a nice little print of Swansea's new home top, and I think it'll look nice on your wall if you're a Swans fan. But yeah, go check him out. Not sponsored or nothing or paid, just I think local or small time business, just asking for a bit of support there. So go check him out. He does a lot of different teams as well. So yeah, you can go and have a look. I don't know if you've seen that, Lee. Some of them look quite cool, to be fair. But
Yeah, I did have a look. It's quite cool.
yeah, he's got a little Etsy shop, and I think he does like cards as well. But yeah, go check him out, like the ones you'd have in your like match attacks or whatever
Yeah.
for your team. He makes custom ones, so it could be a good Christmas present, perhaps. But yeah, what have we been up to this week then? Just more revision as
Not
always.
much. Yeah, work is busy as always, and obviously doing a qualification on the side of work as well, which is taking up a lot of time, but we're getting there. We're getting there slowly.
Are you probably hearing in the audio, whether you're watching on YouTube or um, listening through Spotify or another podcast service? Perhaps we both sound a little bit rough. You got the sniffles, and I've got a bit of a croaky throat, so but I'm sure we'll get through the episode fine. Um, a little bit more. Last thing I forgot to mention with the housekeeping was we have joined the Sports Social Podcast Network. So again, I'll start sharing the links to that page soon. So go and check us out there. They're basically hosting the podcast, so you might hear some stuff popping up through the podcast in regards to them. That's going to support us and hopefully help us grow as well. There's other podcasts on there. I think they've got like David Seaman and stuff. We've got a podcast on there as well, so it's worth checking out. But yeah, we've got a page on there, so you can go and have a look. It's got a nice little picture of both of us. Not that anyone cares about that, but yeah, you can go and check that out. Sports Social Network is called. But yeah, it's been a quiet week for me, same old in work. Although we did both go last weekend up to West Brom, which was a good trip. And maybe we could talk a bit about the experience of the away day and perhaps compare it to some other away days. Like, what's your favourite, perhaps, away day, not from the sense of necessarily just the match, just the stadium, but the full package. So for me, and I think we spoke about this when we were there, West Brom is actually quite high for a couple of reasons. I'll
Yeah.
touch on the fact that the distance from Swansea is not the greatest. So it means a 1 day up and down trip is not too bad when you drive in. And also we've, I think, found the best pre-match pub, or at least that I can think of. I don't know if you agree with that.
100%. The best one ever.
So I don't know if any Swans fans listening to this went to the same place. I think it's called the Vine. Was it called the Vine?
The Vine, yeah.
The Vine, and it's basically a pub, right? And this is the second time we've been there. Maybe the story from the first time is like better because we didn't know what to expect. I think we just found a random parking space on the street, And we were like, oh, we'll just find a pub before the match. And last time we went was in the night as well, when it was an evening game.
Yeah, it's midweek.
So
Yeah.
we'd stopped for food before we went up, as you do, and we were gutted because we found this pub. Just it's in the middle of a housing estate, like a small little pub. It looks really small. We walk in and we're like, oh, this will be all right. It's quite quiet. You just walk through, get to the bar, and it keeps going back, and it keeps going back, and it keeps going back, and then you get to this like big foyer at the back, and there's this massive grill, barbecue grill, and all of a sudden it's a curry house.
Yeah.
Like
Class.
randomly, like it's a pub from the front, like a proper English pub, and then you get to the back, and it's this curry house, and it's just it's banging. They got a little beer garden at the back, and it was really nice in them little booths. That's where we sat this time. But best pre-match meal, obviously getting a drink. I think the only way you could improve it was if they had the sport on the TV.
Yeah, I think it's class. But I've been to West Brom about 5 times, I think, and it was only the last time we went that we found that place, and then we just got to go every year now.
Yeah,
even if West Brom go down to League One, we'll have to just go to West Brom one weekend.
Yeah,
to watch a match because it's that place is class. It's unreal.
They're not going to get relegated, surely.
Well, yeah, not unless they sack Steve Bruce, but they've it's brilliant. And when you ever see like a proper pub and then burst into this like grill curry house thing, and it's not just like rubbish curry either from a pub, it's proper serious grub.
Yeah,
the curry I had was class this time as well.
Like it's not just curry though, is it? Like they do like just the meat in it. Like they had the skewers on the barbecue. You could have it in a wrap with like the mint sauce and lettuce and just banging.
Yeah,
I got nothing else to say. Like it was just, I think I looked forward to that more than the game.
Yeah.
Like it was. I got a pic. Let's see if I can get a picture up here now.
And the game was class as a side bonus.
Yeah, the game was class as a side bonus. We'll get into the game, but just for context, for anyone that is watching on, watching on YouTube, look at that. Them kebabs, they're just pre-match meal. Come on, like as a pre-match meal, what more can you ask for than this? I guess.
Yeah, it was class.
Like, she's obviously happy about serving it. I was happy to eat it. If just genuinely, if you ever go to West Brom away, this is where you need to go before the match, right? It's just trust us. It's it's where you just need to be. Anyway, enough about food. We did go to the match as well. I think this is the first game after the international break and first game since the 3-0 win against Hull. And what did you think of it? What was your match day experience?
Class game. There's another reason why I like going to West Brom is we tend to travel well to West Brom, minus the last time we went.
Selena's taking penalties,
Than that one, yeah.
That was the first time we went,
we went before as well, didn't we? When Laudrup was in charge, and we won 3-0, I think. Ben Davis and Michu and Pablo scored. Ben Davis scored screamer in that game.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
That was ages ago.
Yeah, over the years though, we've tended to done really well at a West Brom away. I remember we beat them 1-0 once. Craig Beattie scored back in the day. But no, and then in this game, you just couldn't have asked for any more. 5 goals, penalty save, last minute winner. It's just perfect. We can't ask for any more for an away day than that.
Yeah. What did you expect going into the game? Obviously, West Brom, near the bottom of the table, they were actually below us when they going into the game, 2 points, I think, after we won against Hull. But they still only got relegated like the season before last. It's a second-year parachute payments. They signed what people thought was quite well in the summer. As much as Steve Bruce gets a bit of stick and memed, he is a seasoned manager, if that's a nice way to put it, with experience. And now they find themselves currently in 22nd with 10 points because they've lost the game since we played as well. Did you think we were actually going to go there and get a win?
I don't know. It's a bit of a difficult one because, I'm not very optimistic anyway about any game that I go to. I always just try and cover myself and be like, I expect the worst, and then anything else is a positive. But like they've got a good enough squad. I think they are probably in a false position. But they lost to Birmingham at home before the international break, I think, and the rumours were coming that Steve Bruce was under pressure. I just think that like managers like Steve Bruce now and like the Sam Allardyces and Chris Wilder sacked the Middlesbrough. I think these managers are just like proper dying off now. I think the game has moved on a lot, and I just don't think these type of managers are being as effective as they were. Um, but I don't know that's just be a hindsight thing. But
Yeah,
I was a bit more optimistic than usual going to West Brom. I think we always do well there, and they've not been playing well. And I just fancy that our style of football is just so much better now to deal with teams like that you think are going to be a classic Steve Bruce team. I just think we're more better equipped. Like I would have taken a point on the road to West Brom all day. To come away with a win was class.
I'm jumping ahead a bit before we return to West Brom, just because it's relevant to that conversation. But where do you think Slaven Bilic fits into that group of managers that you just mentioned? Is he in that crop, or is he not quite there yet? Because obviously he's been taking charge of Hull. Move your mic away a sec. It was a massive blowout there. Yeah, that's fine. What do you think of Bilic?
Yeah, I don't think he's quite in that category yet. I think he seems to have been around for a while, but he's not quite in the dinosaur category as I put them. But he's just not an appointment that gets you excited anymore. I mean, he had that really good run at West Ham for a bit, but it's just not one of them where you think, oh, you're gonna rip up trees. I would have been absolutely gutted if I was a West Brom fan and they brought in Steve Bruce. Like that is just ridiculous. And it's not. I'm not being not trying to be too hard on him, but
it's just weird because they brought in the guy from Barnsley, was it? Before Ishmael, yeah. And I know it wasn't. Well, they were kind of just outside the playoffs when he got sacked, and then like Steve Bruce, they got in the playoffs in the end, didn't they, last year?
No, they missed out, didn't they?
They just missed out. I can't remember now. I thought
it was Huddersfield. No, Huddersfield and Luton, wasn't it? And Forest and Sheffield United.
They just missed out.
No, I think they fell away. I think they dropped like a stone after he took over.
I think. Let's have a look. I can tell you where they finished last year. I've got it in front of me. 10th. All right, yeah, they did. Fair play. Fair enough. It was. It's only 2 wins. I mean, it's not 2 wins from Luton.
Yeah, I'm sure they were like
2 wins. I say 2 wins. It's actually 8 points, so it's more than 2 wins. Yeah, okay. They didn't actually improve. Okay, I'll correct myself there. I don't really pay attention to the whole league table. I usually just pay attention to the Swans, but they finished 10th. Steve Bruce didn't really do anything when he came in. Like, if you're gonna get someone like Ishmael who's got a clearly defined style, surely you need to give him more than like half a season before you, and then like you just revert to one of these tried and tested, nothing special, safe in asterisks.
I think
all the managers, but it doesn't do anything for you anyway. It's kind of what Cardiff have been doing for years, and yeah, they obviously now have realised perhaps to change it, but
yeah, and I just don't think these managers are safe anymore. I would be absolutely gutted if we appointed one of these managers. Your Bruce's, Allardyce's, Pardew, just these managers just been around for centuries. The game's moved on. And that's what I love about what we do, like with our manager appointments. Just trying to do something different, trying to find fresh ideas, young managers who are hungry.
Comparing to our situation, then obviously, say we go back 3 weeks ago and Russell Martin is having a bad time. We're in the bottom 3. People are frustrated. Like, is that roller coaster from there to where we are now? I know in hindsight you can say easy now because we're higher up the table, but based on all of last season as well, would you take the highs and lows and roller coaster of that over one of these? These older guys who's just that like same old.
Well, definitely. I know. You can look at say Steve Cooper, for example. I know he's not like a dinosaur manager because he's quite new to it, but his style of football nearly just like made everybody cry, even though we were winning games. And I think that's what you get. I mean, you bring in someone like Bruce or Allardyce, for example. It's not pretty to watch, but they'll get you results. And the idea is that they'll get you up from the Championship or keep you up in the Premiership. So I think, I would take it, and I think a lot of fans, like we saw under Steve Cooper, were just getting just so annoyed for just winning games but not playing the right way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you take exciting football as long as you weren't, sliding down the table. You take the ups and downs because we've had some fantastic results under Martin. It just outweighs the bad games. The tube, yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Steve Cooper, I thought he was on the verge of getting sacked. We just signed a new contract until 2025. What's going on there?
I get what they're doing. I think what they've done is they've signed a ridiculous number of players, haven't they? I think they've signed players to keep them up in the Premiership, but they've also signed a lot of Championship players. So I think it's quite clever what they're doing in the sense that they're sticking with Steve Cooper for they say, right, you can have like X amount of years. If we go down this year, fine. We've still got a squad then that can bring us back up when we'll be better equipped. Similar to what Burnley did with like Sean Dyche today. They went down initially, and then when they came back up the second time, they were there for years, weren't they? Because they were ready. Maybe they went up too soon in their sort of process. But I think that's what they've done, because signing 22 players is not good for your squad, is it? I think.
Yeah, I think for me, you're just shafting all the people put in the work to get you there in the first place. And I know you're saying they sign players that can keep them up, but it doesn't mean anything to them at this point. It means something to the players who won the promotion if they can prove themselves in the Premier League. And I know they're not all going to, and I think you should sign some players. Obviously, you need to stay there. But like when we first went up, our team was a lot of the players that got us up, and we were the underdogs all the time, and we did a really good season, finishing 12th, I think it was it? And no one expected that. We were favourites to finish last. But I think it's the passion and adrenaline of like being the underdog and wanting to prove yourself in a higher league for these players that might not have been there before, makes them play better than perhaps the players that they are, at least at the start. And then in the second season, perhaps where you start like phasing some of them out a bit. But
I know
I think when
it
you do
doesn't.
it
It
all
doesn't
straight
always
away,
work,
like
does
the
it?
whole 11, like it's kind of like, cheers, guys, got us there. But
I know. I think like it's a different approach, isn't it? I agree with you, but I think like looking at our example, and maybe you can look at like Brentford, maybe who did quite well. A couple of other teams, maybe. But
even
how many
Leeds went up
teams?
when Leeds went up their first season, it was all right.
Yeah, but how many teams can you think of in the past that just come up and go straight back down because they're just not good enough? Like you look at the amount of times Norwich and West Brom go up and down from a
Most of
business
them are like
point.
playing defensively though, and they try
Yeah, but
and sit back.
you can't go up and do what we did before, because you can't just go up and try and
Well,
play possession
Brentford have,
football
haven't they?
anymore.
Well,
Well, they don't. I don't think they play
not
football like we
possession,
did,
but
did
they're
they?
like flair, and it's not like they sit back and defend.
Yeah, but they got like a crack in like front three, haven't they, where they can sort of catch people on the break.
And Leeds under Bielsa, like they didn't. They had their own thing going.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't do it like we did. I just think because it's just hard to do that now. You're not going to go up to the Premiership and just like outpossess teams. But what I'm saying is, I can understand it from a business point of view. They're thinking, all right, we've got all this money for this year because you know what the Premiership brings. If they go down next year, um, then they'll comfortably have the best squad in the Championship all of a sudden with the same manager, with the same group of players. It's risky because it might not work, but it's likely that they just go straight back up and they'll be better, they'll be more ready.
How much
So
is
looking at it
Lingard
as,
on?
oh God knows. Yeah, but
About
he's only a
like,
year contract to me. So
like
if they
200
go down,
grand,
he goes.
something ridiculous, like 250 grand or 200 grand a year.
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard.
Yeah.
Mad. Okay, so back to the point. We were talking about the West Brom game.
Yeah.
Obviously, we went up there. Great away day. You didn't go to the concourse at half time because the experience in Reading just. Someone behind us said that it was rammed down there. We just didn't even bother trying. So I can't talk about that after the Reading experience. It wasn't that bad before kickoff, was it? We could get through quite easy.
Yeah, I think we arrived quite late though to me because we were still enjoying our curry.
On kickoff, basically.
Yeah, as the teams were coming out, it was all empty downstairs then.
Special shout out to the West Brom fans who gave you the big one for about 5 minutes. To the right of us, they went ahead. Actually, they went ahead in the 65th minute, and for that, it was 6 minute period. It was until our equaliser. for that entire time. They were banging on the advertiser boards in front of them for like 6 minutes straight, and you had a peep out of them all game, even when it was 0-0. Obviously, we scored quite early, but yeah, they completely shut up 6 minutes later and then went on the third goal. So it was just funny to see them giving it a big one and then leave after the third goal in the 89th minute.
That's what I just think that's what made it one of the best away days. Just because
Oh,
I thought it was over after we went 2-1 down. I thought, they've we've thrown this away. I thought, we're not going to come back from this. So to come back and then win the game, just ructions in the away end and the winner winning.
right, okay. So that's one of the main points, right? And it's also, this continues into the Watford game, even though it probably isn't fair to call. I think when you look at what happened in the Watford game with the injury time, maybe technically that goes in about the 79th minute, really, or the 80th minute or something. So as much as it's like 98th minute or something, it isn't really. Which we'll get on to that. But what I was going to say is our luck changing a little bit in terms of the injury time woes we've had, the late collapses. We were talking about a bad trend. It's been a theme for a long time. As Martin been doing like match preparation, match management training, been drilling it into them. Like, is it him that's changed this, or is it just a case of like how bad luck has run its course?
I think like fair play to him. I think our game management is a little bit better because it had to be, because it was ridiculous what was going on for a
Ryan
while.
Manning
But
ran to the corner, which is the first time I've seen that happen.
Yeah, first time we kept the ball in the corner. But I think like over the course of a season, it probably evens out. I think like a lot of people say it now, like, if we didn't throw away those last minute goals, we'd be third or whatever it is. But I think it kind of evens out now because we scored late against Blackpool for a winner. We scored late against West Brom, and saved a penalty as well. And like I know you're saying about Watford, but we scored quite late in the game. I think it just evens out over a season. But I do think our game management is 100 times better. I don't know if he tries to. Maybe he's changed it in the sense that we look for a last minute winner instead of conceding the last minute one. I think that's what happened against Sheffield United because we were forward, weren't we, when they
Well,
broke on
Patterson
us and
was in the
scored?
box ready to shoot when he got tackled.
Yeah, so
And
rather
it was
than
the guy that
before,
tackled him that's hoofed it downfield.
Yeah.
For the assist, well, it wasn't the assist, was it? It was the one before the assist. Sorry. Yeah.
But I think like we were unlucky there because like we've said like Norton makes a mistake. If he takes him down, we still get the point. But he's going for a winner there rather than what we've seen previously. Is when it gets to like the 80th minute, we tend to drop back, and we're just inviting pressure. But I noticed in like that game, for example, in Sheffield United and West Brom and Watford, we were still going forward late into the game. We were still looking to get a winner.
It looked a little bit like maybe we dropped off a bit when we were 1-0 up and 1-1. But then when we went behind, they came back. They actually started coming back into it and looking. So I don't think it was a case of we dropped off. I just think West Brom were having a good phase of the game.
No, I don't think we dropped off in that game. I mean, like before, when we were conceding like last minute goals. I think like the Millwall game, we were just in panic mode, just right at the back defending the sticks.
Yeah.
But since I still think the turning point in this season is the Stoke away game, and that's when I pinpoint our season starting. I think since then, even though we conceded last minute in that game as well, but I think since that game we've looked to go forward late on rather than sitting back a bit and being a bit panicky.
Yeah, and Bender obviously came in that game, or the game after, sorry. And between the Watford and the West Brom game, I noticed as well, like, it looked like against West Brom, some of their like passing up from the back stuff was creeping back in a little bit, as if like our form's improved, we're going to try it again now, start bringing it back. But against Watford, they did stop it again. So, like, I don't know, I can't put my finger on the message. It's like sometimes they're trying it and then other times they won't. It's not consistent, which I get. Like, it's ultimately what they want to do, isn't it? Keep the ball all the time, but it is getting more streetwise to when it's good. And I think what the players are struggling with at the back, like the keepers especially, is all right. I can pass to him, so I'm going to do it. But they're not thinking like, what's next, and then how much pressure is he under to make the next pass? Has he got another option? It's fine for them to make the first pass. It's that next one that's the problem for us. And then that person's under pressure and that person's under pressure. And it goes back to the keeper and they kick it anyway. Although saying that also might be by design. And I know it's scary to watch sometimes, but you're dragging the team into you. So like the forward players come in, say you've got 3 people push in. So rather than Bender taking a goal kick where they're all a bit further back and ready to defend it, and it's a bit of like, whatever, it's just in the middle of the pitch now. I think the idea is what Martin wants them to do is bring the players out, make the gaps in behind, and then hopefully Bender plays a good pass from that, even though he's under pressure, and it lands on one of our players forward up and there's more space all of a sudden to attack. That's what the idea is, but it's not always that straightforward.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think streetwise is the right word you said. I think it's just picking the times to do it now, whereas before it seemed like we were doing it just for the sake of it. Like we have that ball from the keeper to Kyle Norton has to go, no matter what, even though when you could see it wasn't on. I think now they just do it at the right times. There's been games at home where I've watched it and he's passed it out to Norton. I think the Hull game might have been a good example. I think, or maybe even Sheffield United before that, where he's passing it out to Norton, and everybody around me is going, "Oh my God, get rid of it! Stop doing this! Stop doing this!" And then they found space, and in 30 seconds they've got a corner at the other end, and it's like that's why they do it. That's what they're hoping to get out of it.
That's the plan, and Potter did it as well. Remember that goal against Man City is a prime example. Selina's goal against Man City, where they play with it in our own corner and then they just passed around them and got up. That's what the goal is. It just doesn't always come off, but that's the style of play.
Moments,
that's the style of play, and it is hard. It is hard work, and the players perhaps aren't all perfect at it, or all suited to it, or have all done it for their whole careers, and they're in championships, so they're going to make mistakes doing it. But that's what he's trying to implement, isn't it, ultimately? So but they're definitely doing it less and being a little bit more selective with it. I just thought against West Brom it crept in a bit more, and there was a few there was a couple, but they reined it a little bit more in against Watford. Although Norton made a couple of errors, but we'll come on to him later. Perhaps a bit tired, but Anyway, the West Brom game again, good away day. So we saw 5 goals. So that's what's that? We saw 8 again in the Reading game and 5 here today. That's a good return from the last 2 away days. So 5 goals, obviously a win, a comeback win, and a penalty save. Yeah. We haven't touched on the penalty save. I'm going to say, though, it was never a penalty.
No chance.
I watched the replay and he just goes down. Like the ref's been absolutely conned. But the ref was not very good for the whole game. And I think even the West Brom fans were moaning about him.
Yeah, it was poor.
But after that penalty, he seemed to give Swansea everything and he wasn't doing that for the whole game. He was blowing up with the stupidest fouls against us. Like there's periods where the game went scrappy, right? We went 1-0 up and then it got really scrappy. West Brom came back into it, suited them down to the ground. We had no rhythm, couldn't get any rhythm because they just started kicking us off the park. Ref was letting it happen, and then they just kept doing it. And then eventually he started booking players for like time wasting, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like in the first half, it was like I'm not sure he's time wasting. Like every other player in the league takes that long to take a throw in.
Yeah, I think he lost control a bit. That ref, I don't know. Yeah, and then second half, it seemed like he was blowing up for everything. Every time someone hit the deck, he was blowing up for everything.
Kicking us off the park, and then second half, blowing up for everything. Like when we started giving it back, you could say, and it's like an ass foul now. But then it seemed he gave the penalty, and then after that, he was giving Swansea everything. So I said to you, didn't I? I was like, it's as if like he knows it wasn't a penalty, and he's trying to like even it out. Ultimately, the penalty got saved. Fantastic save by Bender with his foot. The guy tried doing like down the middle, didn't he? Yeah. I don't think the fans were very happy about it. But yeah, really good. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've never seen a ref actually react to a crowd before. I think the Swans fans were singing, you're not fit to referee, and he turned to the away end and put his arms up.
He's like,
I have never seen.
It's because he gave us a free kick when we were singing that. But everyone was like, because I think he'd booked one of our players earlier on for some sort of foul. Or maybe no, he hadn't. He only booked Ryan Manning for a yellow card for time wasting. Anyway, whatever it was better. Like it was worthy of a yellow card, and it was like the 10th time or something.
Yeah.
Or like there's been a lot of fouls in quick succession, and it was like, surely that's a yellow card. Like he stopped play, walked over to him, proper like done it, and then didn't book him. So that's why they were chanting that, because it was like get your cards out. Like, you're quick enough to book him for time wasting for like 5 seconds throw-in. But then he's literally gone through the back of someone or whatever it was, and you're just like not bothered. So he was confused, I think, because he was like, "I've given you a free kick. What are you on about?"
I've never seen a referee react to a crowd ever like that.
Well,
Never seen
shows
it.
that they listen, doesn't it?
No, it's funny.
So yeah, a couple of things to mention. And I think the West Brom keeper didn't have the best game.
Yeah, I think he should have saved. Well, he messes up for the first goals, and he's no way, no
Sorry,
man's land.
free header, didn't he? Just
And I think he should probably save in Cham's shot as well.
bit of a daisy cutter. It was good in the corner, to be fair. It was just a bit slow. It was a good shot, don't get me wrong. Just, I think a lot of other keepers get there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I know there was not very happy West Brom fans on Reddit, I saw. But they're not happy with it. We did get warned, actually, in the preview, if anyone watched that David Button is not necessarily first-team championship quality. But he's kind of like a reserve who's been bumped up when they've lost their first-team keeper and they didn't replace him. To our benefit, take that all day long. And then, what else was there? So, Michael Obafemi obviously came off the bench and scored right in front of us. We got a nice little video going around on TikTok at the moment after the match where he's singing the "You Jack Bastard" back to the fans. Looks like everyone's back on board with him now, which is nice to see.
He's just like a confidence player, isn't he? Like, when it's all going right for him and the crowd are singing for him, and now he's great. He's almost unplayable at that point, isn't he? Because he just loves it. But so I think we're in a cycle of having him on good form. Because that was a great finish for the winner. Yeah, great finish.
Under pressure, he takes in the box, kind of turns and shoots.
Yeah, I thought the chance was gone when he sort of went backwards, but
I think he had to turn to get a better angle, though. I'm not sure he would have scored if he took that first time.
Great finish.
Yeah, and I left for last because it's a big conversation I want to have between the two games, and that is Cham. So when Cham comes off the bench, I think he replaces Ollie Cooper, or Fulton he replaced. Latapodi replaced Ollie Cooper. Obviously, nice to see him back on the pitch. We'll touch on later.
Yeah.
But in Cham, Ollie Cooper, I've been raving about since he come into the team, and I think he's done a really good job. And we have slated on Cham a bit, but Cham come on, and he scored. He had 2 goals today. He did his first shot in there, and then nothing happened. And then he had the ball straight back and tried again, and it goes in. And we were like, it's kind of. I was when I was watching it, because he was right in front of us. It was like he hit it, and he didn't realize it went in until like it's gone in. I didn't think he was going in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going in.
And then it's in the goal. I was like, oh, he's scored. Like, it's done it. He started then against Watford, and he scored again.
Yeah.
Another outside of the box goal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but this is something we've been missing for ages, for somebody to have a pop outside the box. Because anything happens. Like, they got a little deflection in the Watford game, didn't they? Got a little flick off the defender's foot, but desperate for a midfielder. Desperate for midfielders to hit it like that, and he has got that in the lock. I think Cham gets criticised a lot.
Doesn't do enough of as well as shooting.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I've criticised Cham quite a lot for 2 years, but it's the frustration because he was so good against Watford and got his goal, and then he was brilliant when he came on against West Brom. But then that could be it now for 5 months. And you don't know what you're going to get. And he came off the bench against West Brom last year and made the run down the wing and created the goal. And he was brilliant when he came on. And then, you look back going back 2-3 weeks ago, everyone was saying there's no way he should be anywhere near the starting lineup because of what he's been doing. He comes off the bench and doesn't do anything, and he's lazy. And then a couple of weeks later, he has 2 brilliant performances. Now, I no idea what in Cham you'll get on Saturday, and that's what's the most frustrating thing. Because when he's on it, he's class. He's got it in the locker.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've given him enough stick, and if he's responding to his poor performances, that's what we want. So, we'll criticize him when he's not doing enough, but then it's only fair to give the credit when he is doing enough and when he's putting the performances in. I know people might jump on us and be, "Oh, you've criticized him for all this time."
Yeah, I don't.
And we'll own that. I'll do it again.
I don't get this mentality. Is Tony, you touched on this point, because if someone is absolutely playing shit and you say they're playing shit, then it's because they're playing shit. But then if 2 weeks down the line they then score a goal, it's like, oh, you were criticising him. It's like, yeah, because he was playing shit. Now he's not, But we criticised him because he was playing shit.
Yeah,
It's the
and
same
if
with
it
Russell
takes a goal
Martin.
to get good, then like to get his confidence up, sometimes that's what it takes.
It's the same with Russell Martin. Everyone's like, "Oh, where's all the Russell Martin doubters now that we've won 3 games?" Like, we weren't doubting him necessarily. We were criticising him. I think rightfully so because we were
Yeah,
awful. Because we were awful. So it's not like, oh, now we still think he's awful. It's just like, no, we had such a poor start to the season and we were playing so bad. Then he was rightfully criticised. Now I give him credit for turning it around, and we're playing so well now. Credit where it's due, but also criticise where it's due as well. It's like you can't just be like, oh, you said this 2 years ago. Now it's different.
yeah. I think there is some people that say Martin out with no substance, and maybe you can
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
them
it's
that
ridiculous.
question. But we were always like, we never said Martin out for a start, but we just raised the concerns that we had. We were vocal about bad performances, bad decisions, bad management, and what we would say is a better way, or like how you'd improve it, or what we would do. Obviously, we're not expecting to listen to us, just our opinion, isn't it? So calling out what we think is bad, offering some sort of suggestion or solution, but then that's why it's important then to acknowledge when it goes the other way, and not to just be like, oh well, it's just a bit of form and it's going to go bad again, which some people do. Like, they'll go quiet in this period, like a lot of people, and then they lose the next game now at home to Sunderland, and they'll be like, see, you can't win home games against a newly promoted League One team,
Yeah,
Martin out. And it's like, no, that's just not how it works. Like,
that's football fans for you, and especially Swansea fans for you. Bloody hell.
yeah, and that's why we like having a conversation, and we encourage conversation in the comments or on Twitter where we're most active, and we're like, you're in a discussion about it and opinions, not like just this is your view and that's it, everyone else is wrong. Have a conversation about it.
On that note, is there anything you want to say about Ryan Manning after you
Well, actually,
criticised him a lot?
I was actually thinking about this just now when I was looking at the player ratings on SofaScore, right? And I gave him a lot of stick last year. I did. I'll be honest. And I do still think he's got it in him to be a bit of a liability. And there's been some games this season where his passing hasn't been amazing. But he's also been one of our most creative players, most like best threats going forward. And I think this season he's undroppable on the left and perhaps got a shout for player of the season so far.
That's fair.
Which I'll own. Like, I own the fact that I did give him a lot of stick, but if he sorted that out, then he sorted it out. I said some things about it being a liability, but he's not been as much of that now, and he's a far more like one of the first names on the team sheet sort of thing. I don't feel like he's going to get a red card every time he's putting these tackles in right now, which is one of the things he was doing last year. I know it was good and it's nice to see, but there's certain situations where you just think, oh, you need to get him off because he's going to get a red. He always had that in him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
did,
you
yeah.
always had a pass in him that was going to go astray and lead to conceding a goal, which there was several of those last season, but he hasn't done it right recently. So I needed to call it out.
Last 3 games, I think he's been brilliant. And the one I think I've said it before, but the main thing I love about Ryan Manning is he's just got that edge about him. I know, like, sometimes it has led to him being a bit of a liability. He might go over the top sometimes, like previously, he might get a red card or whatever. But
Yeah.
we've watching the Swans for years. We rarely have those players that have got that like arrogant edge. It always seems to be someone on the other side that you tend to hate. But you watch Ryan Manning now in away games, and the fans absolutely hate him, and I love that. I
The
think that's great.
the other fans, he winds them up,
Sorry,
doesn't
yeah,
he?
yeah, I love it. I think it's great, and we've never
Yeah.
had that player. We've never had that player. I watched it.
Well, Trundle.
Yeah, but it wasn't so much like he was just class when he just sort of he did what he did. But
Yeah, he's a bit
he's
of a
pretty.
shithouse merchant, isn't he? But
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
I
And
think he
then
wasn't getting the right balance last year, but now he's
yeah,
doing it a bit better.
and I remember the West Brom game, the away game, obviously last week. When he's in the corner at the end, we talked about him being in the corner, he gets fouled, and I think like 3 fans on that, like right on the touchline, were there, run down to the bottom, and they're all like screaming at him, basically over the billboards, and he's just like smirking, and as he's getting up off the floor, and then the final whistle goes, and he just turns to the crowd there and just screams at them. And I just think it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's good to see. And like I said, I'll own it. Yeah, I didn't say he was rubbish last year. I just said he's a bit of a liability sometimes. And he's doing well this year, and I'm glad to see that. I'm really enjoying his performances, so hope it continues. The main thing I wanted to say with Cham, though, which I forgot to mention, was like going forward. Obviously, he started ahead of Ollie Cooper here in this game. First time Ollie Cooper's been dropped since he came into the team. What do you do now? Like, I felt it was harsh when he got dropped, but then he went and scored. So you can't really say it was a bad decision. It's good to have that competition, don't get me wrong. I just like, I got a dilemma. I've got my solution. Which one you yours first?
Yeah, I got a bit of a controversial solution on this one because I think he dropped Ollie Cooper maybe because he needed a rest. Maybe from
It was
Saturday
3 games
Tuesday.
in a week, isn't it? So
yeah, I think that's maybe why he dropped him, and then Cham did come on and score. So maybe he was like, we can make that switch. I think at the moment there's a lot of competition for spaces in the sense. Well, I don't know. Do you want to call it a front four? Maybe
3.
I think. Yeah, front three. But front three, but also like with who plays alongside Grimes. Because if we assume Joe Allen is fit, then it's probably 9 times out of 10 it's going to be Joe Allen and Grimes. So then you've got Fulton, Cooper, and Cham. I don't know what's happened with Patterson, but
he's injured.
maybe
I just looked. He is injured.
Okay. Well,
I didn't
Patterson comes
realise
back.
that he is. Yeah.
Patterson, and then you've got Obafemi and Perot as well. So how do you fit 3 players out of all them who are all
in the team?
Did I say Cooper? I can't remember. I said Cooper.
Well,
at the moment, he shouldn't be anywhere near it because he's, these players are on form. The competition for spaces.
I don't think Joe Allen should walk straight back into the team, though. I think he needs to come off the bench and prove he should start ahead of Felton because what's he done wrong?
Yeah, I see it, but I think that he will start. I think like the legacy goes with it. Yeah. I think he will play him, but I'm agreeing with you. I think it's harsh to drop Fulton at the moment because he's playing very well. It's hard to drop Ollie Cooper. It's hard to drop in Cham. Now, the front
two people I wouldn't be so worried about.
Yeah,
dropping, though.
This is what I was going to say. The front two, I think Perot has been quiet for a long, long time. Maybe quiet's the wrong word because he scored against QPR, didn't he? And Hull.
He scored 4 goals in 5, which ended with his goal against Hull.
What were the other goals he scored then? He scored.
One was a penalty,
Hull.
I think. His first one was a penalty, wasn't it?
The penalty was against Middlesbrough, wasn't it? Away. He scored against Hull. The gift at the end, wasn't it?
Stoke,
and then
was it?
Stoke, yes, yeah. Stoke was a good goal. Sorinola ball in, and he finishes it.
He should have done one of them against West Brom.
I think since then, though, he misses so many chances now. He missed about 5 against Hull. I think he hit the bar twice, didn't he? Which is maybe unlucky, but he misses so many chances. The goal he scored against Hull then was the gift from the defender.
Yeah.
But he had a couple of chances against West Brom, and then I think against the one chance he had against Watford, where he's 1-on-1 with the keeper and it's straight to the keeper, was awful. He should have scored. I think it was before the Cabango goal. I think it was 1-1 at the time. But he had a massive chance. He had it straight to the keeper. No, I'm not saying he's awful, by the way, before anyone goes a bit mad. But I'm saying where there's such competition for places, I don't think he's undroppable. And I also think when he tries to shoehorn Obafemi and Perot in together, I think Perot gets lost when he gets dropped deeper. I think he's way out of the game. I think he's completely out of the game.
I do.
So I would rather pick one or the other. I think we've got to that point where you've got to pick one or the other.
I agree it's one or the other, but I'm still keeping Perot as the guy. And there's a couple of reasons for it.
Yeah.
I think his link-up play has been okay, even though he's been quiet in front of goal. The most of the reason I think he's been quiet in front of goal is when he's dropped back. So putting him there against Watford, I was concerned. I know we ended up winning the game, but it wasn't through either of the strikers, let's be honest. I don't think either of them had a good game against Watford necessarily. I don't think Obafemi did anything to warrant being the guy starting up front. And also, he's got pace to come off the bench. If you're going to use one or the other, he's got pace to come off the bench. Secondly, there's no one else. If one of them gets injured, we haven't got a third at the moment because Cullen's out. And then there's a couple of stats, all right? I know you're saying Obafemi's been quiet. No, Perot's been quiet over Obafemi, right? But this season now, this is just this season, shots on target per game, So this is an average. So it doesn't matter how many games they've played. Bear in mind who's played more in what position. Joel Perot's on 1.5 and Obafemi's on 0.6. So as much as he's been quiet with his goal scoring, you only scoring if you get the shots on target. So for Obafemi to have essentially one shot on target every 2 games, whereas Perot's having 3 shots on target every 2 games. And it does represent in the goals they've scored as well, because Perot's scored 4 and Obafemi scored 2, and I know it's a penalty in there and all stuff, and he's at the post a couple of times or whatever. But I just think for now, I would still lead with Perot, with Obafemi more of a person that can come and change the game. Obviously, if his form completely drops, that could be subject to change, yeah. But I think it's more valuable for our team to have one of them with, if Incham's now coming into form, and then you got Oli Cooper in behind, those two. Let's see what they can do together. Maybe having the 2 creative players behind is what someone like Perot needs to get his goals. Because I know there's been a few games where Obafemi wasn't there, but it was Felton that was alongside him, and he done a really good job, but he's not a creative midfielder, is he? That's not really his strong point, whereas Cooper is, but it's still the one guy. Or if Patterson comes back, like, he's another one. Maybe if he can get back in the team and make his partnership up that he had last year with Perot, where they were assisting and scoring each other all the time, like perhaps that's what Perot's missing. He has missed some good opportunities. He missed one, I think it was against, was it Watford? He had a free header, or was it against West Brom?
West Brom, he had a free header. Yeah.
Yeah, and he went to the wrong side, essentially. He should have gone back across where the cross has come from, but he tried glancing into the near post, I think. He should have gone back across where it's come from, and it was an easy goal. But a bit of confidence, perhaps, but I think he's still showing enough that he should be the guy leading the line. I just don't think he offers enough behind at all. Like, if the option is, well, if you want to start Obafemi, then you can't start Perot, like you said. I don't think he does that role at the moment where 2 of them play. I think when he first tried it after Christmas, it worked because no one perhaps knew it.
Yeah.
But every game this season they've both started, they haven't both ever been in the game.
It was kind of the same against Watford, because they started them both, and it was kind of for a bit. It was kind of back to the beginning of the season where people say we're all over them, but we had no shot. I don't think we had any shots on target. We dominated possession, and then Watford went and scored their first attack. Essentially,
there was no shots. There was no chances.
There was that. It was sort of game happening again, with those 2 playing in those positions. So I think you're right. I'm not saying drop Perot now. I think he's ahead of Obafemi. But I just saying in a situation now, in a good situation that we're in, where it's hard to drop players that are playing well, you look at someone like Perot. If he's not performing, I don't think he's undroppable.
No.
If for example, if he has another quiet game on Saturday and Obafemi comes off the bench and scores 2 or something, then I think he's got to start him the week after.
To be fair, based after what I just said, if you're basing this for Sunderland, then maybe I would say Obafemi, just because Obafemi's actually no, it was West Brom he scored, but he scored the most recent goal. He scored against West Brom, so maybe you're gonna just to make the statement oh well, I need more from you, just even if it's 1 game in it, just to give him a kick up the bum. But I was just trying to make the point. I do also think it's hard to judge Perot for the basis of all season when he's only played 4 games as the striker, and that could be a lot of why he is where he is. And maybe he's missing a lot of stuff now because he's been trying so hard to get there. He's not in the role he wants to be in, really. I know he'll play it, but it's not where he wants to be, is it?
Yeah, I think he said, and he came out and said he wants to play 9. His preferred position is to play up top. But I hope he doesn't just pick the easy option and drop Oli Cooper, because I got a feeling that's probably what he will do. I got a feeling that it'll be Incham, Perot, and Obafemi on the pitch Saturday.
If I see Incham do 3 games in a row where he performs, I'll be impressed. But I would be concerned. You shouldn't think like this, but I would be concerned if he starts against Sunderland. We're going to have an off day because you've been treated to some performances.
I think he's another one, though. I think he's probably better off on the bench because he was quiet first half. Well, not quiet, but he did have a decent game. But he was starting to give the ball away a little bit in the first half against Watford, and then came alive second half. I think he just seems to be better in sort of the later stages of the game.
he doesn't drive for people the same way Ollie Cooper does. So it'd be good to see what they can both do together. Like Ollie Cooper will turn sometimes and drive at people. At times in the Watford game, you mentioned that period at the start where you could say we're dominating, but we were dominating the ball, keeping the ball. Even if it was in Watford's half, we weren't having shots and getting chances.
Yeah.
And Cham just looked like another centre midfielder at that point where he's just accepting the ball, moving it on, accepting the ball, moving it on. There was no like, look up, can I play a pass through? Can I thread something through over the top? Like drive at someone, get him to like retreat, make a bit of space, get him behind. None of that. Brawley Cooper does try and do those things. So I think we did miss that at the start of the game.
It's a good,
and
it's a good
he did
conversation.
really well when he came on with winning a couple of clever free kicks.
Yeah.
Cooper did just by like taking a tackle.
It's a good conversation to have though. Now it's much better with you can make a case for anybody starting at the moment, apart from maybe obviously Patterson. If he comes back fit, you could probably make a case for any of those players to be starting. But again, going back to when we were criticising Russell Martin earlier on in the season, people were saying like, oh, he hasn't been backed. But we were saying, this is what I was trying to say. He has got the squad to be doing better. Now they are. You can see the quality of players that they do have, and he's found the formula. Because he's not necessarily playing the new players they brought in January, because Cundle he started again with West Brom and came off the bench.
He didn't come on yesterday.
Yeah, he didn't come on yesterday. He didn't come on against Watford. He started against West Brom and he came off the bench against Hull and he got a goal.
Neither's Oko Flex, but I haven't seen anything from him that.
I haven't seen Oko Flex. But what I'm saying is he's essentially playing the same players that he had at the start of the season when our form was poor to now. So I'm just saying he did have the players to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
And credit to him, he's found the formula.
And you've got Finlay Stevens there, who's right back, but Latabodia has come back from injury and is getting on at right back before Finlay Stevens. So
yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it? I think though they signed him thinking that Latabodia was going to be out for longer.
Yeah, but they're both on the bench, which is the odd thing.
I think they could use.
Yeah, we got Congreve around lurking nowhere.
No, he's buried him after that Middlesbrough game, isn't he? Which is weird.
Weird one. But yeah, nice to see Latabodia back.
Yeah, I think he's quite versatile as well. I think like he could slot in a centre back if he needed to, and
good recovery.
Or like wing back.
Yeah, we saw a bit of Harry Darling in the Watford game as well. After Norton looked knackered, I guess. Don't actually know why he went off, but I think he is knackered and he's getting on. He's done a lot of game time when he was showing. A couple of mistakes from him. Darling come on, took a yellow card like second he got on the pitch essentially.
It's a weird one with
that
Darling.
was a good injury time for the Cars. Like you got Darling 90 plus 11. Oh no, that was the sub. That's when he got subbed on. He had a yellow card 3 minutes after getting subbed on 90 plus 14. Felton 90 plus 16. Latabotia 90 plus 17. Nathan Wood 90 plus 18. So game management lessons are definitely working.
Yeah, exactly. See the game out, take a couple of yellows. That's what you want.
Yeah, 3 of those yellows were for time wasted.
Yeah, there's all part of it.
For time wasting in the 77th minute.
It's all part of game. It's all part of the game management, isn't it? When you're winning a game, especially away from home, you do everything you can. You do your time wasting. You do your little fouls, get your yellow cards. Every team on earth does it.
Yeah. So 6 yellow cards. That's probably a fine for the club as well. But there we are. The last thing perhaps we could touch on, don't want to spend too much time, the referee communication thing that resulted in the 20-something minutes injury time.
No,
I've never seen anything like that. Why couldn't they just carry on with the flags?
Yeah, I don't get it. 17 minutes added time and never seen anything like that. Well, I have for injuries, but not for the ref just not having a mic.
Yeah, well, I don't get it. Like, what's wrong with the old-fashioned way? Like, and obviously at the penalty incident at the end, I don't even know if they had mics for that anyway. So they waited all that time and didn't have it.
Oh, I don't know what the hell was going on there.
There's never a penalty though. I don't know what they were arguing about. Like, he just dived and headed through the middle of 2 of them and went down because he went through the middle of 2 of them. And obviously you're on the floor. Like, he's saying handball, wasn't he? But I don't think there was nothing in that. I know you've got to head out in a second, so we'll start wrapping up. But I wanted to quickly do before we finish a little game like we normally play, if we can get on that. So I've got this time Who played for Swansea when they beat Sunderland? Because that's the next opponent. 2-0 away on the 13th of May 2017. Now, before we get into it, I have a little time to think, starting lineup and all the rest of it. Our Sunderland preview video is available. If I remember, I'll put a link to it here on the screen now. Otherwise, just check out our channel and you can hear me catch up with Graham. I can't say his name without thinking of the wrong way to say his name. It's Graham Fark, I think, or like the swear word, very close. It's play on words sort of thing. He called his podcast the What the Fark podcast. Yeah, so Graham Fark. Sunderland fan, does a podcast. Caught up with him, had a good catch up about Sunderland. There's also, we've been tagged in, so I retweeted it. One of the bigger Sunderland podcasts has done an interview with Danny Graham where he referred to some of his time at Swansea. So if anyone wants to watch that as well, that's around. But yes, so
he's got a clothing line in Swans now, isn't he, Danny Graham?
Yeah, I did see that the other day. Oh, that's one of the news things I wanted to touch on. But yeah, that's a bit weird. Random. But yeah, so what was the lineup when Swansea beat Sunderland 2-0 at the Stadium of Light, 2017? So it was the season before we got relegated.
I was at this game.
Yeah,
I went to Sunderland for this game. I remember because this was one of the top away days as well. This is up there because I think we confirmed safety that weekend, didn't we? Because we beat Sunderland on the Saturday, and I think Crystal Palace beat Hull on the Sunday, and we stayed over. And when we were driving back on the Sunday, Hull had lost, and that was we were safe that year. Then that guaranteed safety, and I think it was the year that they give free tickets for the game, and it was a free pie in the away end as well that the Swans players subsidised.
Nice.
Yeah, I think they knew it was that game we needed to win to stay up, and I think
they wanted the back in
I'm sure Rangel paid for like a flight or something for all the squad to go up who weren't in the match day squad to go up, and it was just it was the away end was rocking and everything was brilliant. But having said that, let's see what I don't know what I can remember from the game.
I can't see I think I can guess who the manager is, but it doesn't say on my little list.
I think Paul Clement was manager.
I was going to say it must have been Paul Clement, but yeah. So I'll check that before I give you a point. But, yeah.
So I think it was Fabianski in goals.
Right. Yeah, it was
Norton.
Paul Clement.
Yeah.
Paul Clement.
Norton was playing right back.
Fabianski and Norton are correct.
I want to say Alfie Mawson.
Alfie Mawson is correct.
Who played centre half with him?
Oh, come on, you know this.
Do you know, I can't remember if I'm having a mental block for this game.
Who played centre half?
With Mawson? I don't think Ashley Williams was still there, was he?
Ashley Williams? I can't believe you're struggling with centre half.
Ashley Williams?
I actually can't. No, it's not. No, it's not. Right, that's your centre half guess. Next. No, I can't believe you got that wrong. I'm shocked.
That's bugging me now.
Well, we'll come back to it because you might, you got the bench to name as well. You don't get another guess. Left back?
Struggling with this as well. Bloody hell. Left back. Who's playing left back this then? I'm just thinking of the kit we had. It was like
I'm sure Williams had gone. Hadn't Williams gone to?
Yeah, he'd gone by then. That was
Everton.
A desperation guess. That one. Oh my god, why am I so blank on this? Left back. Oh my god.
Come on, think of your burger. It's waiting for you.
I was thinking Kingsley. I was thinking Stephen Kingsley, but I thought maybe not.
Is that your guess?
Yeah, I'll go Kingsley.
No, it's not Kingsley.
Oh, we're going to go burger. I thought that fit then because you said burger. I thought
Burger King. Because you said you're going for a burger after the podcast. So I was just saying, the quicker you get the team in, the quicker you go eat your burger.
Oh, I thought you were giving me a hint there. Because all I had in my head was Kingsley.
Got to do with Kingsley?
Well, Burger Kingsley. That's what I thought because you said that. I was like, oh, I'm definitely right. I had Kingsley in my head.
Screwed you right over with that one. But yeah, no, it's not Kingsley.
Bloody hell.
Centre midfielder?
Britain.
Yes. Other one?
Fur.
No. You went
God,
to
I
this
am.
game, didn't you? See worst you've done so
Yeah,
far.
it was. I know it was.
Too much of the pop.
I know it was.
Other midfielder, there's a third one.
Sigurdsson.
He's attacking midfielder.
Ah, right. Another midfielder is key.
Yeah. Them two are correct. Forward.
Llorente.
Forward. Lorente's right.
Another forward.
So I think I said attacking midfielder for Sigurdsson. I think he played left. Jordan played. Oh, I'll just give it away. Lorente played up top. Jordan A, who played right, I think.
Okay.
So he's playing Sigurdsson on the left all the time, wasn't he?
And
I'll
three
give
in
you
the middle.
Jordan A. There's one. Right, bench.
Oh my god. No chance. This is more recent than some of the other games we've done. And I remembered them all, and I can't remember this one.
Goalkeeper. I never usually tell you it's a keeper, but there is a keeper.
Who's behind Fabianski? Mark Birighitti.
No. Right, you're not having another goalkeeper guess because you wouldn't. So it's Nordfeld.
Oh, fucking of course it was.
Defender.
I'm having a mare.
Well, actually,
it's Friday night.
I'm not telling you. So, just guess 6 players.
It's Friday night. It's been a long week. Oh my god. I can't even remember we had in the team at the time.
6 guesses left, right?
Right, Fur on the bench.
Yes.
My god, I have no idea.
Don't forget,
I literally can't even remember that squad.
Let us know how many you got.
I can't even remember the squad very well.
Swansea 2017, year before we got relegated. Paul Clement. Before you signed anyone, really.
I would say Rangel, but I know he's not on the bench because I think he paid for that flight for everyone to come up.
Rangel is wrong.
Yeah. Just get some points for that, though, for him remembering that he wasn't in the squad.
It's not in my fact file, so I can't confirm or deny.
I'm struggling with this one, big time.
You've got 4 guesses left. Just name players at this point, innit? It's just who might have been in the team.
I know they're wrong, though. I know the ones that are definitely wrong. Shelby. I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. You're just saying show players.
Right,
my
3
head's
guesses
gone.
left. Shelby.
I know what I knew it was wrong.
Paul, this is Lee. You've been good at this game, and now you got 2017, and this is Paul. Carry on.
And I was in the game as well. My God. Right, let me think about this, because Bob Bradley started the season. Oh, I got right. Mo Barrow.
No.
What? He was there. He was definitely there at that time.
Yeah, but didn't Clement ship him off in January to Reading?
That was the season that he took over at Christmas time.
Yeah, and he shipped Barrow off. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, because he came in the January, and then we played Crystal Palace away, and he came down from the stands, and he half time. We had the blue away kit, didn't we? And just trying to think of players who were in that kit. No. Not Barrow. I had no idea. I have to give up.
Just 2 guesses left. Just say 2 names.
Baston.
Yes.
He was still there, was he? At that time?
Well, yeah, it's 2017. It was his first season. Him and Llorente, innit? You should have known that. It was always him and Llorente that year.
Yeah.
Llorente was only there for 1 year. Because Bradley liked Borgia, didn't he?
Yeah, because
Llorente was kicking off.
Llorente was going to leave because he wasn't playing him. In fact, I remember...
Scoop, didn't you? You had scoop from Franco's?
Yeah, I had a scoop because apparently he didn't even put him in the squad to go to Everton away. And that was December. And he was literally ready to go because he's not even to put him in the squad.
One more player.
Let's just go with... I don't even know.
I can't believe you're struggling.
I'm going to kick myself on this one.
I've obviously got the names in front of me, so it's easy. But
I
I
know.
thought you'd do better here.
I thought I would as well. It's just one of them. It's just out of blank. I don't even know who to guess.
Just say a name. Any name.
Jose Cañas.
No,
I know he wasn't there at that time.
You went ages ago, mate.
I know.
Right,
I know.
so we got defender Stephen Kingsley on the bench.
Oh, yeah. I forgot because I already said him. I didn't say that again.
Mike van der Horn.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Jack Hawke.
Yeah. Fuck.
Luciano Narsing.
Yeah.
Okay, who scored the goals?
Right. Kyle Norton scored a screamer. You can tell you the goal he scored from the right-hand side and smashed it across the keeper.
Yeah, he did.
And then Llorente scored the other one. Sigurdsson chipped it in. He scored header.
Okay, so you were actually watching the game then, even if you didn't remember who was there. And what 3 players came off the bench and who did they replace?
Oh my God. Let's say Kingsley came on for Ayew.
Ayew? Oh, Jordan Ayew. I was going to say Andre one there, but it's Jordan in it. No, he didn't come on. And obviously not for Ayew because he didn't come on.
Baston on for Ayew.
No.
Jack Cork on for Key.
No. Jack Cork came on, but he came on for Britain.
Yeah, okay.
So no points.
Who was started in midfield then?
We had this already. It was Britain. Oh, Carroll. I didn't tell you the ones who got wrong in the first team.
Oh,
Carroll was the other midfielder.
Fucking hell.
Martin Olsen left back.
Tom Carroll. Bloody hell.
And you're going to kick yourself on a
Martin Olsen.
You're going to kick yourself as centre back. Federico Fernandez.
Oh my God, that's awful. That is so bad.
I don't know.
Do you want to make it even worse?
Wrong.
Do you want to make it even worse? I got him on the back of my shirt. Yeah, I loved Fernandez. I absolutely loved Fernandez.
That's poor. Call
that's
yourself
poor.
a Swans
fan.
God.
That is awful.
Yeah, so Leroy Foyer came on for Key. Jack Cork came on for Britain. And Narsing came on for Llorente. So there we go. That is who
the knowledge was good. The knowledge was good, apart from the starting lineup. Because I remembered everything. Oh God, Mike Dean,
Andre Mariner.
What
was the attendance?
33,512.
Not too far. It's 38.7. I think Sunderland went down that season, didn't they?
Yeah, they'd already been relegated, and they saved us because they beat Hull the week before, and they were already relegated, and they beat Hull, which saved us. And then Hull lost then on the Sunday, and we beat Sunderland, and that literally kept us up.
Couple of notable mentions from their team. Jordan Pickford was in goals.
Jermaine Defoe
started up front with Fabio Barini. John O'Shea.
God, how did they go down?
Jason Denier was. I mean, the rest is. I don't think it's that good. The team. Really.
Lee Cadamo.
He didn't start. He's not on the bench. Perhaps he was injured. Must have been injured.
Fun fact as well for you.
Yeah.
Just to finish, the same day as Eurovision that was.
Oh, was it? Did you watch it on the way home?
I was watching it in the pub after.
Jack Rodwell was on the bench. Okay, well, that's been decent then. We'll wrap it up there. Anything else to say?
Nah, not much.
No?
It's going well so far.
You are, sorry?
Going well at the moment. Let's get another winner home on Saturday.
Yeah, so obviously the pre-match is up. Go check that out. But do you want to do a quick prediction for that? I know you're not going to say the team. Just what do you think the score is going to be?
2-0 Swans.
I said 2-1. I said that it would be like, I wouldn't be surprised to see us start off well, get a good early goal or two, and then be squeaky bum time by the end after they get one back, like in the second half, and then squeaky bum time.
I almost dread home games now more than away games. I think we play better away for a start, and I think part of it is the crowd are so impatient these days. Like home games become.
Yeah, but we said that
the side
COVID,
issue,
didn't we?
That's another side
so
issue.
well over COVID because of.
We didn't have a crowd. It's just so. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll wrap up there. So thanks, as always, to everyone for watching, listening. Check us out on Sports Social Network. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out our match preview videos as well. We're trying to be more active on TikTok, so you can follow us there. We've gained quite a few followers on there, actually. We're creeping up towards 1,000 followers on Twitter, so we're going to hit that first milestone. And we're creeping up towards 500 on YouTube as well. We're on like 467 now. So thank you to everyone that does subscribe. We really want to hit 500, and we said for a while now, when we get to 500, we're going to do a giveaway, probably a Swans top. So not many left, only 33 people. Hit that subscribe button, and we're going to do a giveaway. So we'll release details on it soon, I guess. And as always, thanks. Let us know in the comments your thoughts, and we shall see you in the next video. So goodbye for now.
See you soon.